this is probably going to be at least 5. I have like 2,100 of these CSPs, so I wasn't going to show them all one night. I'm not going to show them all anyway, but I'm going to show a representation. So I kind of broke the country down, and I think in area 5, because it's so population dense, I'll have to see. I may end up dropping, maybe breaking that into 2 as well. But some out in the west, it's a little more population sparse, so there's not as many camps. So anyway, this is we're starting with number 1, which is the Southwest and Hawaii. So let's jump right into it. I only have 4 from Hawaii, so it's easy to pick which ones I was going to show. I'm showing them all. And some of these names I would struggle to pronounce, but these aren't too bad. Hanakea and Moloahia, and they're from Aloha Council and Maui Council. And by the way, if you see something from your home state that maybe like a better picture of, put it in the chat, and I can, with your email and which one you want, and I have much better scans than what I've got plastered into this PowerPoint. So if somebody wants to see something a little better, a little more detail, I'm happy to do that. So we'll go into California, and I'm going alphabetically by council. So California's got a couple of camps: Camp Emerson, Bosker, Scout Reservation, and Camp Helen Dade, and a lot of their stuff, they have more than one on a CSP, and they've done different things. Like this one here has got 2, and they put out these auctions, and they put the camps on their auction patches, and so this is Camp Emerson here. They got some nice designs. I like the bears. Desert Pacific, Camp Mattagway, and later on we'll see one of the older councils, San Diego County Council, also had Camp Mattagway. And you're going to see a lot of that. You'll see the same camp showing up in different councils, through mergers over time. 49er Council, they've been gone a while. Camp 49er, Camp High Sierra, Camp Paradise. A lot of the councils, they put out, like, some of these are probably older camps that closed a long time ago, but they'll put them out probably as a fundraiser, and they put a camp name on there, and I'll buy it. This is Long Beach, and I'm not sure about this one here, Sea Base Squadron, whether that's actually a sea base or just something for their squadron, but I like it. So Camp Tequies and Camp Will J. Reed. And this one looks like it was probably a camp that closed in 2005. And then Los Angeles area, Lake Arrowhead Alumni Association puts out a bunch of them. And this is a representative sample. So these are all a lot of these camps have closed. Camp Rim of the World was only open for, looks like, a couple of years in the 50s, but they put out a series with all the camps that used to be in that council area. So Los Angeles area council, these forest lawns, these are pretty nice, actually. They put out some nice designs over the years, and they usually have more than one a year. They usually have like this gold mylar border, I think, was for staff and camp directors, not camp directors, but area directors in the camp. And but they usually they've usually put out more than one a year. Same design, just different border. So this is a merger here. Started out with Monterey Bay, and then they merged to Monterey Bay, Silicon Valley. Same camp though, Camp Pico Blanco. Orange County went a little crazy for a while. This is Rancho Las Flores, but they really took it to heart with Lost Valley, and they would put out usually 2 every year, sometimes 3. Like in '98 here, you can see they put out a thanks as well as a staff. They usually put out a regular, camper version and a staff version. But sometimes, like I say, they would put out more. And then, so this is Lost Valley. And then somewhere in the late 2000s, they started calling it Shopee Scout Reservation at Lost Valley. So they started putting Shopee Scout Reservation on all their CSPs. And like I say, they put out a bunch. I got some staff, some not. Most of the years I have both. And then these are some interesting ones. They got the grand opening of their sea base at Newport, and then another Orange County Council sea base. And I did some training with a scouter from that council, and he told me that this outdoor education center is also one of their camps. So I have that as well. And the one on the lower left here, Boulder Creek Scout Reservation. There's no council name on that, so it took me a while to figure out. I mean, I bought it because of the Boulder Creek Scout Reservation, but they don't really collect wood badge CSPs, although I am a good old eagle. But it took me a while. I finally tracked down where this was from. And then they have this one here, which is numbered. I don't remember how many of. And then, and I'm not sure how to say that, Old Jado. And then Cutter Scout Reservation. This is the one I mentioned with Matagway. So these are all from staff from San Diego County Council. And I like the other design better with the Longhorn skull, but anyway, these are nice. Only one I have from San Francisco is from Camp Royana, and then San Gabriel Valley, they have a couple of camps, Camp Holcomb Valley and Camp Trask, at least from what I've been able to tell, is Camp Cherry Valley. And these other two parts aren't camp related, but it's a nice three-piece set, so I threw it in there. So this is Sequoia Council and Camp Chewanakee. Not every year, but more than 1 year, more than even these 2 years, I think. They put out 4 of them where they had a camper, staff, scoutmaster, and SBL. And some of them are hard to track down. I don't think they made so few of them that's the problem, but I guess not very many of them just, you know, kids or scoutmasters or whatever, get them, put them away, and you never see them again. And then here's some other ones that are not in one of those sets, just a random selection. Here's one that they made for Aero Tour that went to the camp to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the OA. So I like these. Camp Three Falls in Ventura County. I like these. These things are huge. You know, it just doesn't do them justice. They're huge, but they're really nice. And this is all part of the same set. And then there's a couple more down here, just like I say, random sampling. I actually like the colors on some of these. And the only one I have from Verdugo Hills. And then Western Los Angeles Council, Emerald Bay, which I'm not sure whether, I don't think this was from 2000, so that may have been when that camp closed. And then the other ones are from Camp Witsit. And they're pretty nice. This is kind of the logo, the camp mascot, I'm sure, or something like that. Anyway, next we're on to Nevada, and Camp Boulder, Boulder Dam Council in Las Vegas. They merged into Las Vegas Area Council, so got the same Camp Del Webb 3 times here, and Camp Potosi. And the reason I have these two twice is because they made an unnumbered and a numbered version. I think they made 100 of the numbered versions. And this other one over here, this Camp Del Webb, they probably made a numbered version of that too. But I haven't been able to track one down, so it's not on there. But I like the designs with the Rams head. These are all from Camp Fleischman in the Nevada area. Again, this was probably for the Aero Tour, probably stopped at that camp, so they made these. And the other ones are just random years. So a couple of years ago, most of the councils in Utah merged together to form the Crossroads of the West. So like Maple Dell used to be in Utah National Parks, and Camp Castle used to be in Trapper Trails. Thunder Ridge, I think, was Utah National Parks, and then there's a staff one. I kind of like the Great Salt Lake Council because they made a whole series like this one here. They made several for their cub camps. And one year was a Jedi training camp, and this was one of my favorites there, with Yoda's head. And then a lot of their stuff, Camp Steiner, they made a lot more of those than any of the others. So this is Trapper Trails. Kind of got a string here from each one of their camps. Camp New Fork, Aspen Ridge, Camp Bartlett. This is Camp Hunt. There's anything really exciting there, kind of like this last one. And then Kessel, that's one of the ones that was from Crossroads of the West. Camp Fife, Camp Lowell, and Browning High Adventure. So these are all from one council. So they must have been a pretty big council, a lot of youth participation. And then these are their staff patches. They made a single staff patch for all their camps every year. So that's what these are. Interesting, they have kind of a Pacific Northwest theme going here, where they're not really that far northwest. All right, now we're in Arizona. An interesting one here. So Double V Scar Ranch is part of Lower Camp Lawton. So most of these are for Camp Lawton. But if you look at these two here are a single year set. But if you look at this one, it says Boy Scouts. And on this one here, the C is an O, so it's Boy Suits. And there's an error, obviously, which they corrected. And then last year, they put out this 100-year set. So must have been their 100th anniversary of the camp. Arizona, as far as I know, I've never seen any of just their regular camp CSPs, just these, one from the Alumni Association. There's a couple from Camp Raymond and one from Camp Geronimo. Kind of plain, but not too bad. This one's pretty plain, this Peaceful Valley, but I really like it. I couldn't tell you why, but it's one of my favorites. And then Camp Tahoe, this is from Denver area. I used to live in Denver, so long before I was involved with scouting, but I still fond memories of living out there. It's a beautiful area. And these are from Longs Peak Council. I think their main camp is Camp Laramie Peak. And they made an error here when they put out their web address. They put longspeak.org, but it should be longspeakpsa.org. So they corrected that. And I think some of these, maybe Camp Nickel and some of these other ones, they might be historical issues, but because I've only ever seen them in this little, it seems like they put out a little set here, and I think Elkhorn is part of it as well. Chimney Park maybe, but I've seen several from Camp Laramie Peak, so I think that's probably their main camp. These are favorites of mine. I don't know why, but I have a ton of Camp Alexander. I'm always looking for new ones. Interesting what they did though. Back in '98, they planned a three-part set, and they made it in '98, '99, and 2000. And you see, it was 1 of 3, 2 of 3, and 3 of 3. And I remember when I first got, I only got one of them once, and I thought they were all from the same year. And then when I got them, you can see 46 in '98, and then '98, '99, and '98, '99, 2000. And then in 2001, they changed the design to this, so there was never a plan to go any further than that. I really like this little group here. I like the shape. I like the design. Anyway, Camp Alexander, Pike's Peak Council. The Rocky Mountain Council has a high adventure base, and the only one I have from Western Colorado isn't really a Boy Scout camp. They put out one for an Army base. So, but it's a camp, so I'm not going to split hairs. I'll take it. I got lucky on this one. I was trading with a guy from New Mexico who was going to camp, and that weekend, or that following week, and he said that you could check the trading post at camp, and when he got back, he had this. It was obviously 7 or 8 years ago that they put it out. I'd never seen it, and but they still had them at the trading post at camp, so I got lucky on that one. The only one I have from that council. This one's interesting. This error, the camp, Camp Simpson, they put 1934, the 80th anniversary, 1934 to 2014. I guess a little time machine back here when they did 1934 to 1914. So they fixed that and they reissued it. And then they put one for a commemorative for their camp ranger. And then let's see, Cimarron Council. They have two that I'm aware of, William Scott Reservation and Camp Sundance. And this one here is numbered. I believe it's number 20 out 20, so I don't know how you managed to pull that off. All right, Indian Nation's pretty prolific. They put one of these Camp Hale ones out every year, and then they're really pretty, most of them. They're really nice. They're not the same design every year like some camps. But they also have a couple other ones. This John Zink Scout Ranch and this Cherokee Nation Scout Ranch. And then I'm not sure about this one. It says it was established in 1927. I'm not sure if it's still a camp or not, but anyway, Camp Garland. But I really like these. It's funny, they have the turtle on a lot of them. And when I first got this one from a distance, you can see the turtle here, but if you kind of hold it back a little ways, it almost looks like an aardvark. And that's kind of what I thought it was when I first got it. But Bigfoot, they did Bigfoot for 2 years in 20 and 21. Oklahoma, there's Slippery Falls, and then Kerr Ranch at Slippery Falls. I don't see too many from this council of any kind really that I've seen. So Alamo area has got Bear Creek Scout Camp. Over the next few pages, you're going to see Camp Karankawa a lot. Seems like a lot of mergers. I think I have 3 or 4 different councils with that camp. And there's the Karankawa Indians, and then they have a Sea Scout base as well. Buffalo Trail Scout Reservation, capital area's got Lost Pines. So I got lucky. I hooked up with a guy from Dallas who's one of the financial guys for one of the camps for Circle 10, and he's been nice enough to keep me knee deep in and they put out some beautiful patches. I have so many. I couldn't narrow it down to just a couple from this council. They're really nice. A lot of times they'll make one and then the staff one will be ghosted like this. Same with these two. And but they're really nice. This is all from Camp James Ray. They got one here with a little Mahalo thing. For Hawaii, they got one for Spirit of Pearl Harbor. Really nice stuff. And then this is one of their other camps. This is the camp he's associated with, Camp Constantine. And same thing here where they got the camper one and the staff is kind of ghosted. And I like this. This is one of my favorites here too. I remember this is one of the first ones I got from Circle 10. It looks like a flying saucer. I like that one. Also, if you look at some of these, it's Camp Constantine, but then you see the JDF on it. A lot of them have the JDF, which is Jackie First Aquatic Space. So I'm assuming they're in the same camp. And same with these. These are Trevor Rees-Jones and Clements Scout Ranch, and they're both on the same patch for most of them. I have tons of these. I have more than I'm showing you. I did, manage to narrow it down to 3 slides. I could have gone on and on. This one's kind of interesting in that if you see this design, Concho Valley ends up merging into, I forget now, we'll see it in a couple more slides. And they took the same design and they kind of scrolls it all over and added another slice for the new camp in that they acquired in the merger. And I'll show you that in just a second. And then East Texas has the George Pirtle Scout Reservation. This is a nice one. There's Camp Karankawa again, and the Gulf Coast, and I like this one as well. And then this is Perkins Scout Reservation. Rio Grande has Camp Perry, and this is a winter camp, probably at Camp Perry, but I grabbed it. It doesn't say Camp Perry on it. Normally, I don't try to collect something that doesn't have the camp name on it, but that's close. And then Sam Houston has Camp Strake, and the Rancho Sema, which I was talking to somebody down there. I guess they sold that within the last 10 years, so that's too bad. I always hate seeing a camp in the Sam Houston area. This is a nice one too. Nice, clean, simple design, not too busy but attractive. Camp Karankawa again, and there's that patch I was telling you about. They just kind of closed everything to the right, and they added Baden Powell Park. This is a favorite of mine too because this is a chenille. You don't see very many chenille CSPs, and it also explains this Camp Fawcett, kind of what the name comes from. He was the president, FK Fawcett was the president of the council back in 1928. So he was probably responsible for opening the camp or acquiring the land or something like that. And Camp Tonkawa down in Texas Trails. I like those designs for the same reason I like some of the other ones. A nice clean design. It's, you know, your eyes aren't drawn all over the place trying to figure out what's going on. It's I like those. And this is Camp Dale Resser from Yucca Council. This was pretty neat for their cope course. There's actually a piece of string tied across there, so it's a little 3D action. And then that's it.
Well, I noticed you missed one council in Utah and in Kansas, Kansas and all that stuff. But
Well, I
Utah
may not
National
have
Park,
anything from them.
you don't have anything from Utah National Parks?
Oh, I do. You're right.
Oh.
I didn't. You're right. I have a whole series of those.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry. I must have missed those. Utah National Parks.
Yeah.
They have a whole series that are all the same. And they have a gray border and a white border, maybe. One is staff, one is and actually they have speaking of, they have a really nice set with a centerpiece here for Camp Mapledale.